Hello, welcome. This is Map Focus and thanks for joining me. My name is Nanesi Baoteng. Today we have a very special guest in our midst. He's been a marine professional with over 27 years of experience. He has masters in Marina Certificate of Competency from the Regional Maritime University, and he's also served in various capacities and in various companies. He's been a navigating officer in Iran Shipping Line. He's also been a navigating officer in Diana Navigation Company in Greece, a navigation officer Pacific International Lines in Singapore, and also at Singapore he was a chief officer Pacific International Lines, and in the same company he became the master, that's the ship captain Pacific International Lines, and grew up to become the overseas safety and security superintendent in the same company between 2011 and 2015. In 2015, he was appointed as Marine Service Manager, Shipyard and Dry Dock and Marine Engineering in Tema, and was a seconder to the Takoradi Port. And later, he was also appointed as the Chief Executive Officer of the Tema Shipyard and Dry Dock. Currently, he is a member of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport in UK. He's also an associate fellow of the Nautical Institute in UK and a member of the Ghana Institute of Marine Surveyors. With me this day is Captain Francis Kwesi Micah. Captain, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's been a great time. Looking forward to have this meeting, and I'm happy we've made it this time around. How are you doing?
I'm very well. And I will add that the pleasure has all been mine. I'm looking up to this.
You're looking good too, I must say.
Thank you.
In your traditional way. Okay, so basically we're talking about the shipyard. A lot of people might not know what a shipyard is, what they do. Can you tell us in general and in summary what a shipyard is and the role it plays in the marine industry?
Good, thank you very much. A shipyard basically is a facility that, as the name connotes, ships get built or ships get repaired. And I will say that the building process, just like we have with any means of transportation, requires maintenance. Okay. And after the vessel gets built, there comes a time, as required by legislations or as required by the exigencies of the particular ship, it will have to come for dry docking to undertake repairs, which will be as a result of an emergency or as a result of the requirements of the classification societies.
Okay, so basically you build ships, you repair ships. Can we say that is comparing it to a fitting shop? This place is a fitting shop for the ships.
Exactly. I mean, that is the pride that I take in it. Sometimes when you try to explain it, I use that as synonym to say that just like you have your Mercedes-Benz, you need to go to the dealership and their workshop to carry out repairs. The shipyard or dry dock basically also is the fitting shop for the marine craft.
Originally, this place was designed to be the largest dry dock in Africa.
Yeah.
Yes. Looking at its position now, what would you say? Would you say it has achieved that purpose?
Yeah, I'll have to go back a bit as to the very beginning. In 1965, in fact, the project started in 1962, and then it culminated in 1965. And the size of the facility in that is that it was designed to be the largest dry dock and repair facility for marine craft in sub-Saharan Africa, making its reference from the tip of South Africa right up to the southern end of Europe.
Yeah.
And I will say that the vision then was that with the limitations of vessels moving from the Far East to Europe, and who had the desire to transit the Suez Canal, if the vessels were so big, definitely they needed to use the Indian Atlantic to get to Europe. And the first president, in his wisdom and vision, decided to have this facility such that once you rounded the Cape of South Africa and you were en route to Europe or even to the Gulf of Guinea, and you did encounter any challenge that required maintenance, that required dry docking, that required a facility to shepherd your requirements, Tema Dry Dock was designed just to handle that particular enterprise. So that is how come the facility will have a very big dock with a length of 277 meters. That was relevant as way back in 1965 to cater for tankers, and it still has its relevance in modern day shipping.
Right. When you were speaking, you were talking about you repair ships and you build ships. If I may ask, the activity that goes on here, do we do both now, or is just the repairs that takes place here?
Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, the realization was not fully attained. The design and purpose was for this Tema Dry Dock to carry out dry dock and ship repairs, as well as to engage in heavy industrial fabrication, as well as eventually build ships. Let me go further. The network of activities that was more related to marine works. Remember, we have the Nautical College, for which I'm an old student.
Yes.
We have the defunct Black Star Line. We have the defunct State Fishing Corporation. We had the Port of Tema built in 1962. And there's a direct connect with all these, in that the aging fleet of the Black Star Line definitely needed to be rehashed by having more vessels to replace the aging fleet. And also the requirement of dry docking was a direct connect between the State Shipping Corporation vessels, either to call the Black Star Line, and these dry docking facilities. Not just the commercial ships that were either to the main prerogative of the State Shipping Corporation, but the State Fishing Corporation vessels as well, the trawlers and all that were in there. And also it afforded the naval crafts also to be dry docked in here. So the correlation between the port facilities, the dry docking, the Ghana Navy, the State Fishing Corporation, and more importantly, the Ghana Nautical College, for which the engineers also use this facility as part of their practical training, made the essence of having this dry dock very, very important and essential till very date. But unfortunately, the dry docking component has been the mainstay of the facility since inception.
Instead of the shipbuilding.
Yes, the shipbuilding has not yet taken off. But I will venture to say that the facility rolled out few projects, some barges that were placed by the Bank of Ghana, and eventually they got converted for a grain project on the Volta Lake. And then some aspects of barges that the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority also asked to be fabricated here to help with the light reach operations at the port of Takoradi. So it has been on a smaller scale building some project, but we will not come out to say that real crafts of measure in terms of commercialization has had it read up here to date.
So let me go back a little with the Black Star Line. Then was it one that would say that Ghana had a ship on its own that was built by this facility, or this facility has not ever been able to build a ship before?
No, we've not been able to build any vessel of any commercial concern or interest as yet. The ones that I talked about are auxiliaries, as I would term it, that help in the conveyance of petty cargo or with the import and export business. In other words, to light up a vessel or to help with the export activity. The ones that were built here, what we term, are called barges, and they were built to facilitate the shipment of cocoa from the cocoa basin to the boys section in Takoradi Port to augment the export.
It's been 52 years, 52 or 54 years now, and we being unable to, execute this part of the role for which this place was built as a shipbuilding facility. What do you think has been the impediment or the major challenge, a reason why we've not been able to achieve that part of it? Because I know that when it comes to the repairs in Sub-Saharan Africa, yes, Tema Shipyard is one of the best. So what has been the blockade, a reason why we've not been able to achieve this vision?
Yeah, okay, that is rightly said. The shipyard and Tema Dry Dock, for that matter, way back in 1965 when it came in the offing, was operated initially as part of the Port Authority until 1970 when an LI was rolled out to make it a state corporation. It suffered a lot of challenges. I will say managerial, I will say in terms of logistics flow, I will say in terms of the marketing potential or the setup that therein was. And it was not surprising that in 1996 it got rolled out as part of the government diversity implementation program. And then they had a group of ship operators or dry dock operators in Malaysia coming in. That was the Penal Shipyard and Construction. That is how come we have that PSC still tagged to the facility.
Okay.
Yes, and it did not carry out its mandate very well, I would say, due to a whole lot of challenges as well, until government requested to buy back the 60% shares that it had in that joint venture. They tried to get a transactional advisor to work out the magic, trying to get some strategic investors. Unfortunately, that also was not successful. And thereafter, you see the shipyard, the potential as it derides in, had been on the back burner for a long time. So I'm not surprised that now attempts are being made to bring it back to the fore because of the tremendous potential that exists in the yard. And again, to make sure that the three features that goes with such a facility are now being worked out by the Ministry of Transport and this government through the transactional advisor to ensure that this time around we are able to get connected to a reputable strategic investor that will make the dreams of the shipyard come into fruition. And by this, I'm talking about the need for us to ramp up the ship repair business, the dry docking, and much more importantly, a greenfield project that will make us set up a fabrication unit, a very strong and up and about, to be at standard with international requirements. That will make us be part of the construction of models for the FPSOs. You're very much aware that we are still now in the O&G business, oil and gas business, and we just now are the basics because we have vast potential. And with all the oil fields that are coming up, there is the need for us to have these FPSOs. The FPSOs are very large crafts that get modified to become FPSOs. And once they are in there, the construction phase requires models to, as it were, assimilate all the features therein. And the yard is well positioned and suited to take that responsibility. And that will bring in a lot of revenue, a lot of employment, a lot of wherewithal to the state coffers as well as the enterprise as such. And then the potential exists to build craft eventually. And I'm talking about crafts that will service the oil and gas market as well as our port operations. Now, on the second front is the port development that are currently taking place in the port of Tema and in Takoradi. You have a 1.2 billion thereabout project being built, taking place in Tema, and that will mean that a lot of vessels will be calling to Tema.
Yes.
And with that, we will have to then slot in the requirements under international regulations, and that to just bring that to the fore means that vessels need to be dry docked twice in 5 years with an interval not exceeding 30 months. Means that once the vessel is engaged in a commercial trade, there's a need for that vessel, occasional times, to come to an adjacent dry dock to carry out these repairs without offsetting the trade pattern. So if vessels are coming in from the Far East, from the Americas, from Europe, and in the course of their trade, their technical requirements is that they need to be dry docked. They don't need to go in ballast, in other words, empty, and spend a lot of money on the bunkers. By bunkers, I mean the fuel that the vessel requires for its propulsion, to go to dry docks in Europe or in South America or even in Asia, where the trade might have begun, but rather come next to Tema and have that repair facility carried out.
All these vision, all this that you've said, was part of the wish or the vision for which the place was established, and they hope that by 2030 it will be one of the best in South Africa.
Yes, exactly. We have now a vision and mission statement. Okay. And in that, we strive for excellence through continual improvement and innovation. And we want to be the top 3 by 2030. By that, I'm looking at the Gulf of Guinea and its environs, and the tremendous marine facilities that are coming up because of the oil and gas, and as well as a lot of port developments carrying on. You have from Senegal, you have in Ivory Coast, you have in Ghana, you have in Nigeria, you have in Cotonou, Togo. They are all building a project. But the absence of a dry dock will definitely be a detrimental issue for them when this thing is not up and about and operating at international standards. Fortunately, we have worked out the schedule in such a way that we have become ISO compliant. Now, so therefore, when we look at the existing facilities, one in Las Palmas, and then the next large ones being in South Africa, Cape Town and Durban to be precise, we see Tema Shipyard as the port of interest, the dry dock of interest, to cater for the maritime needs of all the logistics. By logistics, I'm referring to the oil platform, the oil rigs, and all the supporting vessels thereof, as well as the vessels that call along the coast.
But currently your strength is such that you cannot do that now.
Exactly.
The vision is 2030.
Exactly.
So what do you think can be put in place to ensure that at least by 2030, all these that you are narrating would become a reality or feasible?
Yes, I have no doubt at all that once we get in the strategic investor, one that has tremendous experience in the dry docking industry, as well as to set up a one-shop fabrication joint, definitely will be there, because it will involve a lot of technology transfer, it will involve a lot of training, it will involve a lot of manpower, and then the intermix of this, definitely will work out the magic. We cannot say that we are shunning away from the repair business. And I always try to make the semblance that if we bring in all the Land Cruisers, we bring in all the Mercedes-Benz, and we did not have the repair facility, we did not have the place to carry out the requisite maintenance, it becomes a very big issue. So with the rolling in of ships, with the rolling in of projects with the oil and gas business, Tema Dry Dock and Shipyard, once we have the fabrication joint, once we have the dry dock of this tremendous size, and additional the slipway and the second dock, which is in-house, and possibly bringing in a floating dock, we are home free.
Okay. Currently, how many ships dock in a year?
Yes, currently we're looking at 34. In fact, the figures had been very bad in recent times. Until we put in a bit of dynamism and put up our ISO standard and to establish our standard operating procedures, and of course with a bit of equipment that we received from GPHA, who are currently managing the facility. The vessel's call had shot up from as low as 22 to 34, and I will say that it has been because of the hard work of the workers and their understanding of the precepts of dry docking, and to keep themselves in preparedness as we wait for the strategic investor to join hands with government to run out this facility to attain higher laurels.
With regards to the hard work of the workers, what is your staff strength?
We have a current staff strength of 277 members.
Okay, engineers?
We have a cross mix. We have engineers, of course we have administrative staff and financial staff, but mainly we have safety personnel, we have welders, we have fabricators, we have riggers, we have the shoremen, and then we have, much more importantly, the marine engineers who are able to roll out the magic and to attend to their requirements as we receive from the ship owners or their agencies.
Are they locals?
Yes, we don't have any expatriate in-house, and I'm sure you talked about the Maritime University now. I'm a product there, and I take pride in saying that the students or the products of Maritime University have all it takes to work out the magic in the yard.
Right. Okay, so in a nutshell, I know definitely you might have a lot of challenges. What are the basic and key challenges you think once you are able to overcome, you would possibly, have a different narration living here?
Yes, the finances hitherto had not been good, and it had mainly been because of the absence of a robust marketing setup in-house.
Okay.
And but much more importantly is the need for us to have modern equipment. Most of the equipment in-house are all run out. We're talking about 1965 cranes and 1977 pumps, etc.
Old age.
Yes, old age, dilapidated, broken down equipment. But when current management came into office in 2016, like rightly said, when I got transferred from the Tapali Shipyard to this place under the auspices of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, that was when we rolled in a program to revamp some basic equipment to help offset that imbalance. So we have been fortunate to receive new compressors, new lifting arms, what we call the aerial platform, and then new pumps are still coming in-house, as well as the hydro-blasting machines that all go in pursuing the work of the surface preparation for the vessels, as well as some pumps and jacks that help with the mechanical works, where we need to sometimes extract the shaft that gets connected to the propeller, in the vessels, and that requires to be done when the vessel comes to dock and require that mechanical component. So it has been a challenge. Also, a challenge has been the attitude of workers in the past. Thankfully, we are just going around the bend. That had also lost the favor of most clients, especially in the fishing community. But now with the robust marketing that is ongoing they are all warming up to it here, and they have all contributed a lot in us attaining these figures of clients that come to our facility. But finance is a fundamental requirement. Of course, you need the finances to be able to upgrade the facility. The civil works, the roosters, the machinery, the workshops, the lifting appliances, and a whole host of them need to be changed. And with that, if the investor that we're expecting to come in-house soon comes, and then we know that all these other features will be rolling for us to be at par in terms of our operational capabilities as compared to the one that we have in Las Palmas, which is somewhere in the Atlantic, mid-Atlantic, as well as the facility that we have in South African ports. And then we can say that the dream of Tema Shipyard is about being attained and will be home free.
Yes, investor coming in, you said. Tell us a bit about that, because we've known that we've been in the know for some time that Tema Shipyard and Dry Dock is being, in a way trying to get investors giving out and all that. What is it about it?
Yes, the current government, we gave an approval for the Ministry of Transport to spearhead that activity, and it's all over in the media, as you very much rightly stated. A consultant was selected, and the process of vetting also began late last year. I will say that it's gotten to an advanced state where negotiations or the shortlisted parties or companies, 3 of them, are being talked to, and very soon the final report will get to the Ministry of Transport, and then we'll see how it rolls out from there. Once that is done, it means that the investor will be ready to come in-house. Then the features that I talked to earlier on as to the upgrading will commence in earnest, so that we will not be lost out. We need to take absolute advantage of the local content law when it comes to works that need to be done for our FPSOs that are coming on stream for the Aka Energy project, etc., and the new ones to come. The government feels, and it is rightly so, that Tema Shipyard is a place to roll out such project, because that will prevent a lot of capital flight, and then it will open up the industry to the locals, the citizenry, and much more importantly, to accept the gross potential of marine professionals that we have all over and happen to be products of the regional maritime university.
One of the fears that a lot of workers do have anytime we talk about investors coming into such companies and such big institutions is the fact that they are going to lose their job. I wouldn't ask you the nitty-gritties of the agreement, but can you assure the workers that with the coming in of these, whoever it is that will be selected, we're not going to lose our locals?
No, I can say it explicitly so. It is not the intention of government or the ministry to lay off even one worker. What we intend doing, or what the government intend doing, or the ministry for that matter, is to rather educate and to retrain the personnel that are in-house that are trainable. And then the other ones will also be grafted on to other departments or sections that their expertise will be seen. But not one person will be laid off. That assurance has been stated by the minister himself, and of course we have no cause to believe. The workers have been part of the process, I would say. In fact, the first meeting that was had after the government took the decision was for the ministry to organize a meeting to bring in the workers' representative. Of course, I was there, and representatives from the ministry were also there. Subsequently, even the process has also involved workers, and there's absolute transparency in the process that is being pursued, including even the site visits for the selected few among the list of interested enterprises who wanted to roll out the magic in the yard. And negotiations and other aspects have all been represented by workers. So this question has come up several times, and that assurance has been rolled out by the ministry, and we believe that is the case.
Someone is watching us across the world. Why would they? What would you tell them, or why would they have to bring their ships here in case of anything?
Tema Shipyard is the place to be. I mean, there's no ambiguity about that, because my point is that even with our current challenges, the experience and functionability and understanding of the work ethics is ingrained here.
Okay.
It has been in existence for a long time. I'm talking about, and you have people who are here for about 20 years plus, who started right from the basic levels and have graduated in terms of their experience and abilities to higher levels. And we have had a lot of matters to attest to. We have this collaboration with CHEC, which stands for China Habour Engineering Company, who are currently undertaking the dredging for the port expansion. Okay. And a lot of marine tankers that operate in the escargots in Nigerian waters all come to this place. And there's only one thing that makes them come here, because they say we have the ability to roll out their works for them. The only challenge has been the absence of the requisite equipment. But in terms of the hands-on experience and then the ability to dry dock the vessels and carry out the repairs, we don't have any comparator. And much more especially because of the largesse of the facility, 277 meter dock. We don't have a comparator in the West Coast. So this is the place to be, and Tema has more to offer.
Okay. Averagely, how much does a repair of a ship cost?
It varies. Yes, I can give an average figure, but it varies depending on the scope of work. It could be as low as, say, $300,000 to as high about $1.2 million. And there's a lot that goes in. So especially when it comes to the renewal of steel plates, marine steel plates, especially the grade that is used for shipbuilding, is very expensive. And then when it comes to the basic dry dock and hull preparation, sandblasting, the old paint and taking off the barnacles, and then spraying and attaching the anti-fouling paint becomes a standard. And that also has the quantum of cash that will roll in will be dependent on the size of the vessel.
Okay.
We take on vessels with a length of say 60 meters to maximum so far to of about 230 meters. 230 meters.
That's
so
huge.
That is huge. That is huge. And I will say one thing in that particular regard. Talking about the manganese export in Takoradi, you know, we have the SCS, that's a ship-to-ship transfer. We have a very big FSC, what we call the floating storage unit, called Gdansk. She got in here in December of 2016, and she's 225 meters.
Wow.
225 meters. So we don't have comparators, and because we're able to deliver, apart from few hitches in here, that makes our turnaround a bit higher than expected. But they have confidence in us, our ability to work out the engineering feats that should be the target of any requisite dry dock. And then we are here to assist us mariners in that enterprise.
Captain Micah, what will be your final message to
My
viewers?
final message is dry dock, which has been on the back burner for decades, is about rising. And for all marine operators, this is the time for you to get your principals notified that instead of they doing dry docking in future for all their logistics and crafts that call the ports of Tema and Takoradi and beyond, Tema Dry Dock is a place for you, and we are always welcome. We have a very up and about welcoming team at the sales and marketing unit who will be ready to answer all your questions, and therefore you are very much welcome to the Tema Dry Docks. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. You heard Captain Micah, and I'm sure by now you are aware what the Tema Shipyard and Dry Dock is all about. It's not just what you might have thought. I mean, there is more to it than just what you thought it was, and I believe by now you are abreast with the issue. Thank you very much for joining us. Map Focus comes your way every now and then on this channel. My name is Baoteng, and I was here with Captain Francis Kwesi Micah. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you.